Vamp Mario, and we are back with another I don't know why that looks weird. Alright, so I think we're good. We're back with another paint video. This is again our Warhammer night. I keep thinking it's Wednesday, which is why we're a little late coming to this video. Did it not open up? Oh, this is fun. Okay. Sorry guys, just bear with me tonight. Oh, it literally closed all of my tabs. Interesting. So just getting my, what is happening? Okay, we're having some technical difficulties tonight, guys. I am so sorry. I am trying to get myself back. Okay, it's just I guess I must have. Alright, there we go. I must have cleared that by mistake. Alright, cool. So yeah, this is our Tuesday night video where we are doing some Warhammer painting. This is our second... Oh, Jesus. There's stuff all over the floor. This is our second video, or second part of the painting video for... and I totally butchered his name in the description. I will fix it. But this is... Arach, there we go. Orach the Drowned, which is one of the new Nighthaunt models for AOS. Wanted to get him painted back up. Wanted to do a review of a new model for you guys because I know it's been a while since we did one. And then finish up the painting. We had done quite a lot of painting last time around. We're going to finish this up and go over some really cool techniques that we're going to implement to get this done. And hopefully you guys will find this entertaining and fun. But I do apologize that this video started so late tonight. But without further ado, let's get into it and start painting. So I'm going to start doing some more of the woodwork on here. And as always, if you guys can come on in and comment on things. I always say it's a lot more fun. Let me just see what we're dealing with here. Is that all wood? Why? That's like a different texture. Okay, so that's got to be copper. Only that center piece is wood. I love to hear what you guys are working on your painting tables. What games do you like to play? Are you an AOS player? Are you a 40K player? And we will, I did 2 weeks of some AOS stuff. We will bounce over to 40K stuff. So if you are a 40K player, don't forget Tuesday nights. We always do our Warhammer painting. And I'm using Skeleton Horde for my wood here. I always like to use Skeleton Horde on these types of models because you're dealing with a ghostly apparition that's doing a boat, and I'm using a Citadel handle. I love the extra large handle they came out with. It has a very small base to it, and it's so much easier to spin around and get into those areas. And I'm just going in and getting all the wood elements done. And then you could see we have that kind of old style gold that I'm using for the metal bits. Again, I wanted this whole thing to look very... In fact, I'm just going to paint all of that because the cool part about this skeleton is I can paint over... Where is it? I can paint over areas that even are metallic because I'll just go in and I'll use the metallic paint. Because last time I was painting, I didn't fully get in there to get all of that. So... Alright, let's see. And like I said, always like to hear what you guys are working on. And it could be, it could be Warhammer related. It could not be Warhammer related. Also, if you prefer to play, let's say, some of their box games. Obviously, I'm sure a lot of you out there are thinking about Horus Heresy, if you guys are Horus Heresy players, because that big box hits this week. Which I, unfortunately, will not be jumping in, probably jumping into that box. And this is kind of why your support is always appreciated, and that's why we keep talking about the monetary side of things, which I know can be hard for some folks right now. And I'm just trying to get the bones. There are bones inside of here because it's really cool. Basically, his bones make up parts of the ship because it's basically his body. that is the ship. So you can see his spinal cord is in there. I think this model is insane. I love the Nighthaunt models. I always loved ever since they came out in AOS, which made me want to be a Nighthaunt player. And they just got some new rules and some new models, this being one of them. So I'm excited to start playing and using some of these units. And again, I wanted to have that really ghostly ship is what we were going for. So using all the antique gold, using all the like now I'm gonna probably for the wood elements, I might for the ship elements go over it with null oil just to make it a little bit darker, because like up against the bone it does look like it's too light. So I may reconsider some of that. But I do like the spectral difference of putting the blue with the green, those colors. It gives it this nice like ghostly flame feel. And I think for the spirits, I think we're going to use Apothecary White for the spirit's hair, and I'm going to use the Margot's Purple for his hair features, because since they are like ghostly apparitions, it'll make more sense, because they're not, you know, they're vying to get onto the ferry, and they have their coins, because he's essentially GW's version of the ferryman. So if you're familiar with the folklore of the ferryman that you have to pay to get into the afterlife, this is what they're talking about. Yeah, I don't know. We always start strong with a few people, and then I lose a viewer. I don't know what's going on. I guess you guys don't. I would love to get feedback and comments from you guys. To see what you think, or definitely if you guys are feeling like the quality of the stream is not where it should be, like or technical things need to be different. I'm always a fan to know what those things are. But yeah, I just feel like lately we've gone from fairly consistent viewing to a drop off in viewing. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's just that time of year, or if it's just people are, my thought is that people are ramping up maybe I don't know. Or maybe you guys are getting tired of us painting. You're aching at the bit or chomping at the bit for us to start doing some actual battle reports, which I am happy to say will be happening soon. We're going to definitely be coming at you with a few more things. Personally, I think it's probably I'm trying to look at the stream as I'm going through it. It might be just that I make things awkward with the way I hold it, which I am trying to get better at. But it's funny, I was just experimenting with some different cameras today, but unfortunately my experiments did not go well, because I think ever since they updated my iPhone a little bit, there's been some differences in the way that my iPhone is handling focusing. I don't know. So I'm going to do the Margot's Purple for the flowers, because I've done some of them as red. but I thought it would be cooler to do these in Margot's color. It also is an excuse to get that color a little bit more on the model, because that's nice, because then it'll connect that hair color. Because I always tell people when you're doing little details like that, you always want to try and bring the color throughout the model, because then it'll be repeated, and it'll make it look more visually interesting. So when somebody is viewing your model, you know, they're seeing they're seeing the whole thing. And you also, with the flowers, you want to be really careful that you're spinning it around and getting all sides of the flower. And then also you want to make sure that your leaves are all done as it goes around. The petals of the flower, that all of them are painted in, and then you have your leaves that are around them, so the vine itself. Now, I knew it. I knew there was going to be like one tricky one that's like inside. So I gotta just jump in there and get it. I'm sorry I can't show you guys what I'm doing. Alright, there we go. It's a tricky flower. It's right inside. And also, I apologize that this model is a little on the taller side once I put it on there. So I want that close-up cam so you guys can see the details. But now comes the tricky bit. So I actually think I'm going to do the lantern in a different color than I am going to do that top detail. Oh, and there's another one behind for the flowers. So the flower is right here. And I like to shout out my official sponsor for this video, which is Undiscovered Realms. You guys can see a link for them below. They are the place I get all of my fun, exciting models from and painting equipment. So please check them out. Please support them. They're my local gaming store. You know, I want everybody out there to really try to support their local gaming stores, because without them, we will not have a hobby. Because, you know, the hobby industry, obviously, with all of the COVID things that we all were dealing with. Oh, geez. Okay, so I'm having that issue now. Of course I am. It's not going to happen again. I have a funny feeling it shouldn't happen because I restarted my computer. But if I do have video issues, let me know, guys, so that I am aware of them. I don't think you guys are having audio issues with me, but it just stinks if I'm having those, because I have a funny feeling I know why. Because I unhooked and undid a lot of things today, so I'm praying that everything is set up correctly and we are not having any crazy surprise issues tonight. Just looking to see. There's always a little bit that doesn't get painted, and I'm just doing like final little checks. Whenever I have a color in my hand, I just try to look to see if there's some missing stuff or missing areas, just to give myself a little less to do on the cleanup step. All right. Again, for the folks that are watching, like I said, I am always a huge fan to find out what you are excited about. Are there GW models coming out that you cannot wait to get on your painting table or on your game or on your field? I know I mentioned, I know we're doing an AOS model, but Tuesdays are our Warhammer day. So if there are folks out there that are if there are folks out there that are interested in Horus Heresy and the new new box coming, which is a pretty impressive box for the amount that you get. Although they did release, apparently there was some news release that the box is there is a slight, I guess we would call it pricing discrepancy as a word, but it came out that apparently the conversion for it on, if you're a US in the US, is actually a little bit more expensive, and it's actually cheaper if you are a overseas player. Now I don't know if that's just the conversion rates, which you can't you can't get mad at GW for things like that, but what I think it implied, or the article that I read implied, is that it is not due to the conversion rates. It's just that GW decided to make it physically $70 more than its European counterpart, which that is not cool. And also not particularly sure why they would do that. I mean, I have a theory as to why they would do it, which, if my theory is correct, there are definitely better ways to handle that particular problem, which is, I hope that they didn't try to do this in a attempt to deter or to discourage U.S. retailers from ordering it. Because I could see slightly them trying to do that, because they are, I know from, other retailers I've talked to, or other shows or places I've gone, other like retailers in the city, that there is a problem trying to keep or stock GW products, because they had this whole like quantity or allocation. So if you are not familiar with that, I mean, the word allocate, obviously, if you know what that word means, it's pretty easy to understand. But what it translated to for a store was that a lot of the distributors that they were ordering their product from would like say, well, I'm only allocated this much. So stores would get like a set number of certain things, and so like releases of box sets in particular would be one of those things where they might say like, well, the store's only going to get like 2 or 3. So if that store particularly has a few players that all play that faction or play that game, it became very frustrating, because now you have to like kind of tell your customers that you can't sell certain products to them because the allocation is lower. So it's very, very annoying. And I've said this on other streams, but you know, for anyone that is a regular for us, if you feel that there are better times of the week or different content that you'd like to see, please let us know. I'm definitely reconsidering what days I am live because I'm noticing a kind of a drop off in the people that were watching, and it's kind of crazy because I'm on more consistently. So I feel like there was a time where I couldn't really hit the deadlines or the times that I had promoted for our schedule, and then when I started to hit them, I feel like I lost viewers. Now I don't know if there's a correlation to that, or like I said, it just is timing because maybe people are getting busier, or people's works or lives are getting busier. I don't know. But you know, if you, the viewers out there, and I switched over to doing some of the base work because I wanted to, and I'm using the snake bite leather color because I really like it for dirt. It's also a really nice dark color, so it is very forgiving if you're trying to cover up mistakes. So if you have a little, let's say, bleed over, or you have an area where you were a little too overzealous and you have some spraying, you can cover up the base very well with it. But back to what I was saying, if you know, it's kind of funny just how that works out. But if for some reason you got, like, if there is a better time, or if you yourselves all, you know, start to think you'd prefer us to be on at different times, I'd love to hear what some of those times are. I obviously can't necessarily make it all happen if it is, you know, because right now I'm not, you know, like I say a lot, part of why we ask for that monetary support is because I'm not doing this on a full-time basis right now. I have other commitments and things that I have to do. So if we could get that support, then I could both review more, so things like the Horus Heresy box and some of the newer stuff, I could be more frequent in doing so, because then I could literally, you know, be able to grab all that stuff, because we would have the income to do so, because everything that I am doing right now is coming out of, you know, my pocket. And I should mention that this model kit that I'm working on right now is a $50 model kit for folks that are interested in it. It's pretty standard for Night Haunt main characters. So they're the characters, and I will say, as a Night Haunt player, you 100% need some characters on your force. There are some people out there that will try to play Night Haunt with no named characters, and that army just does not work. The named characters 100% are part of the army, and then your troop pieces, you know, will obviously, you know, get buffed or supported by your characters, and obviously they will be crucial in defending them, because not all or not many of the Night Haunt named characters are beefy enough to, you know, I wouldn't say are beefy enough to defend themselves. They are meant to support the rest of your army. And like I said, you can see how awesome once you get the vine painted. It's such a nice little detail. And there are a lot of details on this model, and they tend to have those details because what you have to understand, I made a mistake on these. They should be because this is a larger model, they can really up the details a lot more. Now, what will be slightly tricky, but I will, as always, do my best to give you guys a front row seat to what I'm doing. It's going to be a little tricky to get the back of that vine. Because I have to hold it in such a way that I can sort of get to those areas. So I apologize up front if it's extremely hard to see all of what I'm doing. I'm going to try my best, but it's just because it is. You have to remember the vine is literally wrapping around the ore, so it is super hard to get this to go the right way. And it's a tricky detail because it is tight quarters in there, so that's why I've switched to my very thin lakey brush, because it is tight corners in there, and there's a lot of other little touch-ups that I have to do too, because I realized I didn't fully paint the ore all the way around. So you know, it is creating a situation where I'm gonna now have green I'm going to have the green color, and then I'm going to come in with that dark color. And I don't like doing that, because the reason I don't like doing that is because it's going to make me play. I like to call it, you know, you're going to play the game where I'm going to keep going over two different colors. So I may have to keep backtracking to like redo the color, because I didn't realize that I hadn't painted that whole bar. Oh geez, all right, there wasn't that much paint in there, thank God. Every time a contrast paint falls, I get super nervous, because contrast paints are notorious for they're so liquid, you know, they're so much more water than they are pigment of paint, that they will actually spill all over the place. I've lost so much paint by spills. So it's part of why GW actually started selling spill trays. They had them before, but they like brought them back. So it's actually pretty crazy. And then I'm going to bring the Space Wolf Gray back, so we can get the rest of that, get the rest of this. I'm going to be extremely careful. So what I'm doing now, before I finish the green areas of the painting, I'm just going in and painting those areas with the dark space gray, space gray, space gray, space wolf gray. Excuse me. I'm just going in and painting those areas so that I can so I'm just going in there to get all of these little areas so that, one, it's going to make the green pop so much more because the white areas won't be there. But it also will just help me because then I will know exactly where the vines are and where the vines are not. And you guys can see, I'll do a little close-up of where we are. But we're just working on that ore because, like I was saying before, I realized as I was spinning it around that there were a lot of avenues in there that I didn't paint. And then we'll start working a little bit more on the internal parts of it. And I was going to say, for folks that are watching, start a watch party. Please, start a watch party. Get some other people in here. If you think there are some folks out there that would find what we're doing interesting, feel free to get them and invite them. You know, you're already, that means if you're already here and you're already watching us, then you're somebody who already finds this content enjoyable. Like I said, invite the folks that you think would really, really enjoy it even more, and get them over here. And in general, share this content with lots of people. Because if we can get more folks watching, and have a larger audience, which would maybe guarantee more live viewers with us and more people talking and having fun, we can get closer to partner and affiliate goals and get ourselves in that super, super awesome spot so we can start, I could start making some monetary support from this. And like I said, you guys win when the monetary support happens. It's all going to be your win, because then I will be able to review more products, do more stuff, have more like production quality, and just be able to do a lot of the plans that I want to do. But at the current moment, I can't, because it's just me and I'm working with a very little budget. Basically, that's why you guys are only seeing models from factions and armies that I have interest in. I mean, granted, even if I was getting monetary support, I would say I probably would still do that. But it would definitely allow us to. The key would really be it would allow me to have more people help me. So with more help, the content could get better, and then last but not least, with more people and more help, I could, take on the idea of doing more stuff. So I'm just tidying up all the areas, and then we're going to start moving into the top part and getting some of this like antique gold. Now, a lot of the choices I'm making here, you guys might be asking, like, what made you think about this paint style? Well, a lot of it I am, I have Night Haunts already that I've painted, so I'm really just matching him to match the army, because I want them all to look good when they're on a table. But at the same time, he's also his own unique character, so I want to give him like his own nice, unique color scheme as well. So I don't, I don't want him to just be bland and boring. So I want him to So now I'm just going to put that gold up here because I want to have it or maybe that's the problem. Maybe I should have did maybe I was foolish in doing AOS stuff because you guys probably want to see 40k stuff because of Horus Heresy. I will admit that might be a shortcoming on me. That I didn't lead with the Horus Heresy stuff. I just can't afford that box right now. It's just, I mean, like $300. It's a lot. They give you a lot in the box. They give you a lot of models, but I will admit that. So we're going to paint all these gold bits. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I think I have a theory as to what's going on. And I think the theory is when I got raided the last time, I think the person who raided me does a show on Tuesday nights. And so I think they stole my audience, which is part of what raids are about. Because if people went over to that person's stream, I'm going to guess that they might have a little bit more polish than me. So that might be an unfortunate side effect of it. Or my biggest fear, which I hope I'm wrong, I really hope I'm wrong, is that that hobby gaming has taken just a huge hit. And maybe you guys are just not feeling, your hobby anymore. Maybe a lot of people, because of COVID, had to give it up. So video games, got more front and center for a lot of people, which I don't blame people if that's what happened. And it could potentially not even be the fault of the people, and I shouldn't say it's the fault of anyone, but it might be just as simple as, I know it happened in a few cases in my area. Stores closed, some stores could not survive during the pandemic, and so a lot of places may not have maintained their communities. Like I know, yeah, I just know a lot of things changed. A lot of things were different. And it's like a lot of differences. It's not even just a little bit. Like, you would think that there were a lot, like, small differences, but I know, like, even in, and I never thought I'd see this, but even in, like, my area, my local store, the Magic community changed. Like, used to be a lot different. Used to be a lot different when it was, pre-pandemic. I'm being so dirty. Pre-pandemic, it was so much different. You know, and it's just the way the pandemic hit them. And you know, a lot of people, it just became, you know, whether, you know, they went the way of the I know for a lot of people they started playing the digital app. Some people, it became, you know, like I said before, they just, you know, the you know, all the different things from the pandemic and what a lot of us may be dealing with right now, which is you know, larger costs for living and things. So a lot of that disposable income that a lot of people had for, you know, tabletop stuff, it just became harder. So, like, you know, like I said before, you know, that's why I think video games, I think people might have gone, you know, went back to rekindling a love for video games because you can play them virtually. You know, there's a lot of benefits to them. So I get it. I super get it. Like I super get it. And I don't blame anybody who might have felt that way or you know, went that route, because I get it. You know, it's hard. It's a tough world out there right now. You know, it's why even me, I have to be, you know, that's why I have to be like very specific with what I cover and what I'm getting. And even us here at Modern Geek Gaming, we're gonna, you know, you guys are gonna notice we're gonna, you know, not go all the way to retro and crazy games, but we're definitely gonna start pulling out the library of games and start playing, you know, some oldies but goodies, because I do have a few games that I've never, you know, necessarily spotlighted on the channel, and I think they would be interesting. So I do, you know, I do want to show them off and have some fun playing them. But yeah, we're definitely gonna take some strolls down memory lane, because, you know, it is hard, as many of you I'm sure are discovering, to dish out for some of the newer things, you know. So luckily, you know, I hit some strides where I was able to get a few things here and there, but yeah. But like I said, I do not fault anyone who feels that way, or, you know, feels like that is the norm of what they've been dealing with in their life. I get it. You know, this playing board games and tabletop games, it is a luxury. But I know a lot of people that have, wow, I just hit the side of my thing. That was I just want to, well, yeah. No, I know many people who have opted to go in that similar fashion for their gaming stuff. You know, and even some people who had pretty good established relationships at like places they were going, and it just became easier to not go to those venues anymore, because they could either play it in their place, or you know, they could just go to other places to experience or have fun, and that's it. You know. And again, totally get that. Totally understand it. Totally do. Alright. Now, I think I want to break up. Like, I don't want, like, gold everywhere. So, I think what we're going to do is I'm going to make certain parts of it that like antique type of gold. Oh, was that like a gold? No, that's a solid piece on here. I think it's just the way it's modeled. I might have just messed it up when I built it. So I think what I want to do is we're going to do gold accenting on here. And then I'm going to do a different metallic for here, just to introduce like a pale color, like that pale gray that's here, so we can get it into another area, because I think that'll look really nice. I'm actually semi-impressed that I'm able to get into areas of this model as well as I am. Because I did not think I would be able to get into there as good as I'm getting in there. I was a little nervous. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little nervous about getting into some of these like trickier areas with, you know, some of this gold and getting some of that gold painted inside of there. I mean, luckily I can kind of get into different spots, so I'm using a lot of cheat angles and stuff to kind of using the holes of the boat to like get into areas. So I do apologize for a moment if you guys are not getting the best angle, but I have to be a little sneaky. Yeah, because basically I don't want to get an area painted wrong, because I can't really go in and edit it. I can kind of do that, but not well. So I'm trying to be pretty specific with how I hit this. So, because there is more, there's actually more bone work in there. There's more, there's just like more of everything. So there's a lot of colors I'm gonna have to sneak in. Oh, there we go. That's a good angle to get that last little bit. I'm gonna go up and over here. I can get all that in there. All right, perfect. Yeah, because then I have to do bone inside of there. But actually, most of that is going to be the most challenging, is if you look down the barrel of it, like inside all the way towards the back, we have all those skeletal areas. We have the ship itself. That is going to be a little challenging. I'm not gonna lie there. That's gonna be a challenging paint situation. But I do like the way that this is coming out because it's very, very colorful. It's very eye-catching and it's very, very interesting. So the model is maintaining a high level of style, which I really, really like. Yeah, man, I am freaking out. This is the second night where I've had only one person watching me. What is up? I am super excited about what's happening here because, yeah, it's making me rethink some things, and I really hope, I just really, really, yeah, we're gonna do the whole thing silver. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I really, really hope that this isn't an indication that y'all are you're all trying to tell me something. that would make me a super sad guy. If y'all are trying to tell me that I should not be, you don't want to see me on this thing anymore. That would be real that would be real sad. Because I think, or at least I thought, we had quite a few people that really enjoyed watching every week and being here with us. So yeah, like I said, I really hope that's not where we're going. That would make me very sad. And it's crazy too because with a lot of the Etsy people and like other stuff that I've been doing, I would have thought that I would have had a little bit more traction, but I don't know. I keep asking in all my videos, please guys, let me know. You could totally message me and let me know, are there better days and times? Are you guys looking to see different things? Like what can we do? Like what can we do to make you happier on the channel? Oh, are there like metal? Are there straps on this? Ooh, okay. And I may have misunderstood what this is. I don't think those are straps. I think those are clamps, but I could be wrong. No, they're clamps. I was right. Because it is kind of a balancing act. I know that a lot more people play 40K. So maybe the AOS content is just not as interesting anymore. And like I said, maybe y'all, ooh. I'm gonna do some null oil on that silver because it's like kind of caking a little bit, which is weird. Doesn't usually do that, but I will have to do a little creative problem solving on that. But like I said, I wanted to break up the just the what's on the model because it's like a lot. You know, once I put the null oil, it'll go back in the cracks, and then it won't be as bad. Now, what I'm gonna do for the lantern. So kind of the same idea. I wanted to make, now normally some people might have done the reverse where they would have done the gold, they might have done the gold on the lantern and then silver on all the other bits. But I don't know, there's something about the gold. I like the gold because like I said, it gives it that more like antique look. So it looks more like old and tarnished, and you know what I envision is a little bit more in line with you know, with an undead spirit. Like I when I think of like an undead spirit rising and coming, I don't think of them as rising with like with you know, shiny new toys. It's gonna be, should be like dirty. It should be like old. It should be all those things, because you know they're coming back to the land of the living. Which, if I'm not mistaken, the lore of this particular gentleman is that he is literally, as people are dying on the battlefield, I believe he's taking their souls. So I think that's his lore, if I'm not mistaken. That he is actually taking the souls of the departed or dead on the battlefield. But I don't know what you guys think. I'd love to hear in the comments. Please do not be shy. You are a voice in this chat and on this channel, so please say hi. Yeah, we are painting. So I am painting the newest member of the Night Haunts for AOS, for my AOS players out there, and he is. I butchered his name in the description, but it is All Arch the Drowned. Ulrich the Drowned, I think is what his actual name is. I did not write that in my description because I did it fast and did not bother to go look it up. But that is a new Night Haunt model, released only a couple of weeks ago. And I am a huge Night Haunt undead player in AOS. I love any undead models, so I have a lot of them. And we're just going into town and trying to get this guy painted. I like what we got going so far. And we're going to continue to do so. So I'm going to move back over to Skeleton Horde. I was just using Lead Belcher for the silver for folks that just joined. Wow, look at that. I'm flinging paintbrushes like weapons. Okay. Stream's getting good. Getting exciting. Oh my God. Let me take a little sip. Like I said, please let us know who you are. Let us know what's up. Tell me a little bit about what you're working on or what you are excited to work on. Is there a model from GW that you are looking forward to? I'm going to guess it's Horus Heresy because that's probably what many are looking forward to if they are 40k players. As I was saying before, I If I had the infinite funds to get all of the models in all of the categories, I would. But unfortunately, I don't know if we're going to be able to do Horus Heresy stuff. Um, I would love to get that box, but we have a couple of other things on the horizon that I have to kind of piece out. So, but I may get the Horus Heresy box. I keep saying I'm not going to, but it is a really good value, and I do kind of want to. Review it because I think you guys would really like it. And if I was gonna review it, I would probably do. I would do something cool with it because I am not a Horus Heresy player, although I know there are many out there. I actually never learned how to play Horus Heresy. That being said, I think I would like it if I actually played it. When I say that I haven't learned how to play Horus Heresy, that's probably a misnomer because I did play older versions of 40K. So if I, not to say Horus Heresy rules are based off of older 40K, but that is kind of the idea, is that it's a little bit more like the retro version of 40K because it has the blast templates, it has all that stuff. So I'm not against learning how to play Horus Heresy. But like I say all the time, that is the problem with our channel right now, is that we have to, everything comes out of my own pocket. That's why if you are enjoying what you're seeing and want to see us paint more, and you want to see more of my paint jobs and my color schemes and my approach and learn more about painting, you should totally sign up. Meaning you should totally follow our channel, and you should sign up for notifications, when we're live. And and blah, 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 blah. And all of those good things. So you could be here when we are live and you can talk with us. And like I said, it only takes a hi to start a conversation. So if you are so inclined to do so, say hi. The chat is up and I can see it. Now also, I will ask folks that are watching, if you are, and I've never asked this before, and I maybe should, because I do have controls on just to make things a little bit more civil. If you are trying to type stuff and it is blocking what you're trying to type in a maybe less words or quicker way, please let me know. Maybe that's another reason, because I feel like I always ask people to say hi and or to talk, and I never get a response. And that could also just be that people don't want to talk, and I totally get that too. That is an answer, and I respect that. I also figure that, and I've said this before, I figured that a lot of people out there who watch us, you may be yourself painting, because I know I do that. I watch people's streams and I'm painting, so that's why you can't type, because you yourself are also using this time to paint, and I might be that added thing. So I get that too. You're painting and you look for a stream, and it kind of makes sense to. I'm just tidying up some of this because I realized that I went a little too crazy with some of the skeleton horde on the bottom. And I'm gonna add some more texture to some of this because it looks good, but it's starting to. You want to have some definition and some fun stuff happening, so you're gonna have to darken some stuff, some null oil in some key places. I have so many models next to me that I need to stop hitting them, and I kept thinking that today was Wednesday, so I've actually set up for an entirely different stream because I will be on tomorrow as well. So if you like what you're seeing, consider that's why you should follow, because that is not one of our scheduled days, but I will be coming on tomorrow to do some fun stuff. Wednesdays I tend to do, it's a little bit more like random. But sometimes I'll do a double header where like if we get really into a project on our Monday or Tuesday program, I'll you know, we'll go for it all the way and do some more. So because I know for myself, I am definitely a person that if I'm in that stride or that role and I'm like, oh man, I'm having a lot of fun painting this, I don't want to forget what I'm doing, so I want to get right back into it. I don't want to like mess around. But most of the time, you know, most models, if even live, take me a pretty short period of time. Now I'm gonna have to do some apothecary white, which is what I'm doing right now. So I chose to do that for all the lost souls that are on the bottom. I wanted them to look different than the main character, and I'm gonna have to go back. I just noticed I didn't paint that in correctly, and I wanted to do this like spectral two-tone color and make it look like he's oring or like sifting through the spectral energy, which I think is very cool. In general, I'm very happy with the way that this paint job is coming out, and I think you guys are too. But I would love to hear your thoughts. So you should totally say hi. I'm gonna keep saying that. I'm gonna start to be like really relentless and be like, please talk to me. No, I'm kidding. I'm half kidding. Let's see. I could start to do tombstones, which I didn't do yet. Actually, let me do some of the orange. There's some orange touch up. So Griffin Hound Orange is what I was using for his cloak, his two-tone cloak at the top, because I wanted to have a slightly different color. So I'm just gonna tidy up some of this, because as I was painting the silver, I noticed that I had not gotten to all of it. Oh no, that's actually the color underneath, so I cannot paint that part. And I just want to make sure that I get all of this undertone, because that little white border is gonna make it so you don't completely see the colors the way you should. It's gonna be distracting. So was there anywhere else? Just a little tiny bit there, and we could just go a little bit in there. And what's nice about that silver, even though I messed up a little bit, is that I can just paint right over it with the orange, and it will actually cover it up. So the contrast paints are really nice because they go over metallics very well if you make mistakes. And then we're gonna just get in here and just make sure that we get all of this, and there we go. All right. There's not really another place I could put the orange. I was trying to think of another way to do the orange, and then I think I'm gonna do another hit of apothecary white on the top of the skull, top of his head, because I want to make it a little bit darker so it works a little bit better with the purple. Purple, yeah, with the purple hair. So I'm just gonna douse that with a little bit, which is gonna darken it a little bit, which is gonna be nice. Right, there we go. Because right now, it's like he's got an identity there, but I want to make sure that it really like pops to that. So now he looks a lot better. And then also what I wanted to do, which I noticed as I was painting the rest of it, is that I didn't add any apothecary to that. I also didn't paint the bracelet, the shackle on the chain. So I'm just gonna get more on here and a little bit more on the hand, so we get that just to be a little off-white, so it looks a little bit more robust. And like I said, for those folks that have already followed, thank you so much for following us. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you so much for coming and seeing us. It's so awesome. It really does make a huge difference. And if you have not followed yet, and like I said, you are enjoying what you're hearing and seeing, consider doing that. It is awesome, especially if you're watching this after the fact. So, and I'm bouncing around now. Now I'm using the colors, because you got Plague Bearer Flesh. Now, a lot of the contrast colors, not a lot, all of the contrast colors are they are 40K names. So they all are basically telling you what in 40K you should be using them to paint. So that is why it, like, pretty much they are all some form of 40K name. But yes. And again, for you folks that are joining us, I totally butchered his name in the description. I'm going to just turn him around so you guys get a better look at him, which is Ulrich the Drowned. That is who we are painting, the newest Nighthaunt member of AOS. So for Nighthaunt fans out there and for that army, that's who we're painting right now. And essentially he's their version of the ferryman. If anyone out there is familiar with that character or with that belief for the afterlife. The ferryman on the river Styx. And I've been a Nighthaunt player for a long time. Ever since they came out. And essentially ever since they were undead units. Because, of course, a lot of the Nighthaunt units are just undead. From original fantasy. But, obviously, once AOS came, they were, they got new models, they updated a lot of stuff. But a lot of the Nighthaunt models are essentially legions of Nagesh or undead from the previous fantasy world or fantasy game. Sorry guys, I noticed that I had not painted all of the chains, so I know it's a terrible angle, but I'm gonna get out of this angle as fast as I can. I'm trying to hold it in the best way possible to try to give you some idea of what I'm doing, but I'm just taking again the Balthazar Gold, which is what I always use it. I'm a big fan of using it for my Nighthaunts because, as I said before, I like it because it gives them like a rusted antique look. And again, this is just phase 1 of the chains. I will get some we're gonna get some null oil to go in there, and once I do that, they look real dirty and they look real antique, which is awesome. And the chat is open if you guys want to comment, say hi, let me know what you're working on your painting table. I always like to hear what everybody else is excited about if they are AOS players. Let's all be a happy family together. Or the other side of it, if you have never played AOS before and you have questions about it, please feel free to let me know. Okay, no, it is still live. For a minute, I thought my stream had stopped. And I was like, ooh. All right, so all I'm doing now is I'm just a lot of what I'm doing at the moment is I'm just kind of going. I'm doing like a spot check and just like running around. So once I like am doing if I got a color in my hand, I'm just like going back over certain areas with that color, because I noticed as I was looking that like certain areas I gotta go back in, I gotta do some stuff, because I was like, oh, I didn't actually paint that. Now I still have a lot of work to do inside the boat, which I'm gonna get there, and I will paint it, because a lot of people might say, oh, well, you don't really see it, you probably just like quick paint it, but it will bother me. I will know that it's there, and it will bother the heck out of me, because I am a commission painter, which if you are interested in getting something commission painted, you can check out my website for that, and you can see you can see a lot of examples of my painting. You can also go to our YouTube channel and watch tons of other videos, as well as the Twitch channel when this video is done, of other projects that I've worked on, and you can see other samples of things if you are so inclined and interested to do so. And yeah, like I said, I'm always intrigued to find out what everybody's playing out there. Who what's your main army? What do you love to throw down on the table? I'm always a fan of hearing those things. All right, just again, a lot of spinning around. Sorry, guys. I'm not trying to make you dizzy out there, but we're getting into the nitty gritty now. So it's gonna be more of that type of painting, because I'm really trying to hit those details, get those things painted. All right, there we go. Now we got a couple people watching. It's making me feel better. I got so nervous. I was like, no. Now, for the folks that are here, oh no, why is it every time I say, it's amazing, I'll be like, oh, I'm so happy we got somebody watching, and then like, bam, I lose an audience member. It's hilarious. Am I that intimidating? Do I scare all of you? I'm sorry. I hope that is not the case, but I feel like it might be. What I was gonna say is that I lost what I was gonna say now. No, I'm always curious to find out more about who's watching. And I always like, when I talk about commissions, I always like to bring up to people, like, I know when people hear that word commissions, they get very scared. Like, like things are going to cost a lot, or it's going to be really expensive. And you shouldn't be scared of like commissions. Because if the person's half good at commissions or understands commissions, you should be able to discuss with the person that is going to do the commission, like what you're thinking about, what your what is your goal, what do you want to have done, because I know I work with people all the time, because like there's a lot of different ways to approach a commission, and I'll do, like, I always tell people that, like, when I'm doing my, let's have you guys actually see the thing I'm painting. When I'm even streaming, or I'm doing, because all the models that when I stream, I mean, yes, we're going to use them. Obviously, part of the choices sometimes I have with models is that I will be using these, obviously, in battle reports, or I have some maybe custom campaign ideas, or, I even might use them in an RPG setting, because, people underrate their Warhammer models, but there's nothing in the rulebook that says you can't use these as, like, monsters in a D&D campaign, or to represent monsters, because I will tell you this, as somebody who plays RPGs, and plays Dungeons and Dragons and tabletop RPGs, it is very, very fun to play with actual terrain and minis and stuff. I think it adds a whole other dynamic to, you know, to your session. And I think it takes something like Dungeons and Dragons, which I think is pretty accessible, but if you are a person who, you know, maybe your hesitation for not doing D&D is because you feel like, oh, I don't really have like a big or a good imagination, or you know, it's just not, I'm never somebody who like did acting, or like I don't know if I'd feel comfortable, or you're self-conscious about like doing that in front of people. The minis can be very helpful, and it's also good to mention that Dungeons and Dragons does not have to be played like you are a professional acting troupe. There are some people that play that way, because, oh, I'm sorry, guys, because they are so inclined to, you know, they like taking on the persona, or they like doing it in that way. But yeah, it's not designed where you have to do it that way. You could be very conversational about it and just describe what's happening. Just painting the tombstones on the bottom. I like to, I'll always leave parts of the base kind of undone, so that while I'm waiting for the top layer to dry, I can come down here and I can just do some base work, so it leaves the top part all ready to go, and then it can just, you know, do its thing, because it is very much to your benefit to let contrast paint usually dry for 10 to 15 minutes, which is why I tend to do, as a technique, what we would call batch coloring. So I look at the model, or I look at my paint scheme, and I go, okay, cool, every, you know, let me paint all the areas where, you know, where I'm going to use Griffin Charger Gray, which I'm using right now. Or let me paint all the areas where I'm going to use the Blood Angel Red. And so I try to paint all the areas of a color at once, so that they'll all dry. The other advantage to doing that is that with contrast, it's a way to get better even tones. Because if you let contrast dry and then you go back over it, it will inherently start to get darker. Because that's the idea of contrast, that you can keep going over it and over it and over it to actually make different darker tones and to create more contrast. So it becomes a very easy paint to make effects happen and things happen. So I think we're doing pretty damn well. I mean, we got all that nice detail going on right now. We're going to start doing, like I said, some null oil. And there's going to be definitely some little details I want to bring out, like little studs in the boat. I just painted... Oh, I missed a coin. Let me paint that coin real quick. I didn't realize that last guy had a coin in his hand. So I'll get that painted. And always... if I can say a good tactic, get in the habit of always closing every one of your contrast paints. Because we were talking about it earlier, but I almost had a snafu where a paint bottle, I thought almost slid and was going to spill. And where I love the contrast paints, and I love them very much, and I think they're great paints. They're especially great for beginner painters. They suck when you spill them, because you will lose half the bottle. No joke, no qualms about it. You will 100... Oh, I didn't realize he had all coins in there. I might as well paint those gold now. But that makes sense. He's the ferryman, so he would have a box of coins from all the souls that he's transported or traveled. Okay. So that does check out. That does make sense. All right. Now there are chains in there, and then the box itself, I have to figure out what I want to do. Probably going to do bone on the top of it, so I'm probably going to do skeleton horde on the top of the box. There's all like skeleton stuff. Oh, and then that's part of him, so that's all got to be. Oh no, that's got to be gold. All right, so let's paint that gold. That is a brace. And I love this model because I love that I love that it's like his organic spine, but then it's also it's also part of the boat. I think that's so super cool. So I love how his spinal cord is actually making the hull of the boat. So him and the boat are actually one because it's his body that makes it. I think that's just so cool. All right, I got to jump in there because I got some gold that I actually missed. And I know people in the past have commented like how I get into little areas. That's just practice. That is 100% just practice and like painting a lot of models to get control and just getting better at it. If you feel like you are intimidated by doing what I'm doing, you could always do assembly painting. That's another way to do it. So you could like partial assemble. Okay, I thought I was hearing stuff. That was weird. Now, I should admit that the top of the golden box that has all the coins in it, or the top of the box that is got coins in it, did have a top. I lost the top; it fell off, so my model will always be slightly incomplete. I didn't have any bit or anything I could really use to, circumvent that, so I will forever have an open box, which, you know what, it kind of works for the model. It's not a huge deal because, you know, they are reaching to pay the toll or to pay the ferryman, so it kind of works. It doesn't hinder the model that I don't have that. All right, so what I'm trying to do now is just use some sight lines to get in there and just get the rest of the skeleton horde pieces painted. Okay. And I always tell people, please spin your models. You got to spin and look at every avenue of the model you're painting, because you will realize that you did not paint one side of it. It'll look good from one angle, but not from another. So you always want to take the extra time to take a look, and if you feel like there is an opportunity where something could be better, you know, just pop in there and get it. Like, that's a great example. And you can see the difference. Once it's filled in, you don't see, it doesn't look wrong. It looks a little wrong when it's not filled in. So, because it's primed in white, and white is the hardest. And I will always say that white is one of the hardest things to prime in, because you see everything. But of course, in order to use contrast, you have to prime in white, or the paint will not it will not show up. It'll be too transparent. All right, so we're going to do some null oil, and you will see why I'm going to do that. So immediately, just go to apply it to some of these areas that have either texture or rays. And you can see just how brilliant that comes out now, because all that null oil is a shade, so it's meant to darken things. So whenever I have like patterns or I have things like this, I like to use it. Now I also like to use it in general on metallics, but I'm being a little sparing with it because you're going to see what I'm going to do with it. So one of the other things I wanted to do was go over the wood. because what it'll do is it'll shade this wood to be slightly darker. And I want to do that so it looks different than the bone. So you're gonna see a much. It's gonna look real cool. It's gonna pop right now. Watch. Wait until you see it. So the minute I put that in there, now look at how much darker that wood looks. So it should start to, if I put more on it, it should start to pull away. It's not gonna, it won't darken it like a million times. It's gonna be a subtle darkness, but what it's gonna do, it's gonna pick up that wood tone. And it's gonna make the crevices in the wood black versus the normal skeleton horde color. So it will instantly change. And obviously once it dries, I can just put more of it on, and that should up the shade value a little bit. But I wanted to do that for all of the wood that's on the boat itself. Like the underneath, the undercarriage of the boat. And then we're going to do the same thing right here. So again, just trying to give it, and you can see from, we'll do it from the front. You can see now how that takes on a different tone. So it's going to be a slightly different tone than the rest of it. And I want to do the same thing to the ore. So again, now the ore should seem a lot more articulated. And then that's going to make the bones, it's going to make the bones seem more lighter. Now what's also cool about this is it works very well with the white models, because now this will also act as a filler. So if I missed anything, or if like I was off by anything, that's going to help fill in those gaps. So you'll see the edges of things will look a lot better. Yeah, so you can see, look at that detail now on the front. It looks more raised. It looks more textured. This all looks real nice now. Yeah, that looks dope. I very much like where we're going with this. Ooh, we've been on for an hour and a half. This is awesome. And we have hit our stride, which is great. Maybe that's just what it is. We got to be on for longer. And that's fair. If you guys want to see longer videos, I mean, like, you will now, because we spent a lot of time resetting up everything. Things have gotten more organized, so I will be able to come in, do my thing, and we will have a bigger commitment to giving you guys some cool content. Things are starting to calm down a little bit. And we will get there. I'm just doing a little bit more to that. Okay. Damn, this is looking awesome. I love the undead models. It looks so cool. This particular model, when I saw it, I was like, this is pretty awesome. I liked all the recent ones that they've done, but it's been a while since they did a Nighthaunt model. So the minute they were going to do one, I was like, ooh, I want that so bad. Because it has been a while. It's been a while since they added to that Legion. But they got a new book, so that's part of why they did it. Oh, that's supposed to be orange. I'm like trying to look at that very top part, and I'm like, that's supposed to be orange. There we go. I'm like looking at it going like, that does not look right. And then the minute I paint that, it looks super awesome. Like I said, we're getting into the nitty gritty details now, so it's coming through. Oh man. So I definitely have to do some more basing, which looks super cool. So I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's painting. Where are we? All right, this is probably a good time. We've almost been on for about 2 hours. I'm gonna sign off for now, but we will definitely be coming back, I think, for a part 3, and then we'll be jumping into a new project. So maybe that might be a half and half show. So maybe we'll wrap this up in our next week, and then we'll jump back over to Tyranids for 40K, because I had the crazy idea to buy a Tyranid army when I have so many other things to paint, and I wanted to do them in a cool way. So you guys will see that content. But I hope you guys enjoyed the Nighthaunt model that we brought to you tonight. If you like what you saw, as always, please consider following the channel, signing up for notifications, being here live with us next time. And if you didn't talk this time, build up the courage and talk to us next time. I'm here to help. I love talking to people about painting projects, what they're working on, all that cool stuff. If you are so inclined, check out my website and Patreon. You can literally, for $1, follow my Patreon. It is an art-centric one that has to do with my indie comics, and I haven't done updates to it in a while. I'm actually still working on the strips, but all that money is going to support the same channel. I will be launching a specific hobby Patreon, but I got a little derailed from some of it, but I will be doubling down and getting some of it done this week. So we will have that. Very new things. You'll even see a little refresh and new look to the channel. And also, as always, I'd like to thank my sponsor for this video, Undiscovered Realms. You can see a link to them below. And they are an awesome place. They ship anywhere in the United States. They have Warhammer stuff. They have Marvel Crisis Protocol stuff. Tons of tabletop games, board games, puzzles, Funko Pops, and collectible card games, even retro toys. Very cool place. Check it out. They're always good folks, and I wouldn't be able to do the stuff I do without them, so I really, really appreciate them and want you to too. And if you are watching this after the fact and you watch the whole video, first of all, you are awesome and amazing, and thank you. And second, please consider following, signing up for notifications, and if you're already doing all that and you're one of our loyal viewers, please consider sharing this with a bunch of other people. See who else you know who might like this content, and come and see some cool painting and cool creative stuff. And hopefully this Thursday we will actually play a tabletop game on our new setup. I am feverishly trying to work. So tomorrow's going to be a big day for me, but I've already worked out a couple of kinks on a few things, but we're going to try to work through it and see if we can have some amazing stuff happen. So come back and see us. Again, not tomorrow, but we will have another painting video tomorrow, because I am going to go on, even though we're not scheduled, to do a part 2 of some Marvel Crisis Protocol stuff. It's going to be kind of a mishmash. I'm going to call it a random mix video, because it's going to be a lot of different painting videos of a lot of different things. So come and join, have fun, and be there. And we'll see you guys at the next video. All right, thanks everybody. See you soon.